So, can you name any other debut album that has almost every song played in regular rotation on rock radio? And did you know that this album revolutionized the way albums are produced? And did you know that one man played almost all of the instruments on this album and also produced, engineered, and mixed the album? So I will be talking about all of this in this video. And I'm talking about the debut album by the rock band Boston. This is one of the most popular debut albums of all time, and the album is celebrating its 45th anniversary, so let's talk about it. So let's start out with the album cover. Really cool. It shows a big UFO with two UFOs in the distance, but if you look closely, it's actually guitars that make up the UFOs, and I actually hate to admit it, but I never noticed that until now. And the man behind this album is Tom Schultz. He's a musician, a songwriter, an inventor, and an engineer. He has a master's degree in engineering from MIT, and he basically designed his own recording studio in his basement. The guy is basically an inventor, and he's not a typical rock star. He's the kind of guy who likes to stay out of the spotlight. The album was released on August 25th, 1976, produced by Tom Schultz and John Boylan, released on Epic Records. Tom Schultz is a classically trained musician, and he basically played all the guitars and bass, as well as like the organ and a bunch of other instruments. He was also the design consultant. He remastered the album. He did the liner notes, the production, and the engineering. He did pretty much everything except sing, and on vocals we had Brad Delp. But he also played some guitar and some acoustic guitar on one of the songs. And the rest of the band were kind of like minor members, but we have Sib Hashian on drums, Jim Matsea on drums, Gary Goudreau on rhythm guitar, and Fran Sheehan on bass. But they all like played on like certain songs of the album. Most of the songs in the album were played by Tom Schultz and Brad Delp. So this album is also considered to be one of the first power pop albums. They used cutting edge technology to create this album. Like I said in the beginning, most of the songs are on constant rotation on classic rock radio. Specifically the songs on the first side of the album. The album was very influential, and a lot of other artists kind of took what they did in terms of production, and they kind of like copied it. In the end, it became one of the greatest rock albums in history. The album has 8 songs and is 37 minutes long. So I'm going to go through the tracks now. First song is one of the most popular songs, More Than a Feeling. Starts out with an acoustic guitar, but goes right into one of like the most iconic rock riffs in the history of music. It's the kind of song that switches back and forth between like heavy and light parts. This is a formula that will be used by many bands in the coming years, and there are also lots of melodic guitar playing, and kind of goes along with the power chords. The guitar solo is also one of the most memorable in rock history. Next is Peace of Mind. Another song with an acoustic intro, goes into a melodic lead guitar melody. The song has a signature rock chord progression in the first verse. The song has a really great backing vocal, some heavy power chords, and it's another song with a really iconic guitar solo. It's really cool how you think like the song ends at the 4-minute mark, but they do add like another intro to the song and just build up on it like with these like layered guitars that fades right into the end of the song. Next is a cool song called Foreplay and Longtime. Now this album actually brings back a lot of memories for me. I remember me and my brother used to listen to this album in our basement. I was about 7 or 8 and he was about 9 or 10. The instrumental part of the song like used to scare me, especially when they would like hit those like low notes on, I guess it was the organ or piano or bass guitar or one of those. But I would always like run out of the basement when I heard this, and really a great intro. It's like a mixture of classical music and progressive rock. It's kind of like a mixture of like The Doors and maybe a little bit of Deep Purple, but it really creates this sonic landscape. And I really like after the instrumental part, it gets like really quiet. Then it goes into the second part of the song. Now the second part is just really great classic rock song. It's more of a progressive rock song with like the organ and the lead guitars at first. Goes into an acoustic guitar part with like the hand claps, and that's really what I like about this band. Like they mix like so many different styles of music into their songs, and they did it like so seamlessly. The guitar solo on this song is way ahead of its time, It almost sounds like the stuff that we would hear on like the Van Halen album, like 2 years later. Next is Rock and Roll Band. It's a straightforward rock song, and it's the first song on side 2 of the album. The lyrics are really cool. Basically, it tells the story about how the band came about. It's the shortest song on the album, but probably the song that like everybody can like recite the lyrics to. It's just like you can't help like following along with the lyrics and just hearing all about the band and their experiences. Next is Smokin, and it's a hard rocker. Has a pretty cool riff. It's more like a blues rocker. The song is a really cool like organ solo, and it reminds me of like either like The Doors or Deep Purple. The organ solo is kind of haunting as well. So according to Tom Schultz, the song was actually inspired by ZZ Top, and he does call it like boogie rock. And this is a song about the love of music and parties and the sweet leaf. Next is Hitch a Ride. This is a really different type of song. Almost sounds like the Beatles, or maybe like a 60s like folk rock song. Very laid back, has some acoustic guitars. There's some clean electric guitars in it as well. It does pick up the pace after about a minute and a half. Does go into some like progressive rock territory. Has some pretty cool keyboards and electric guitars. Does slow down afterwards and has a pretty cool melodic guitar solo. Next is Something About You, and it's a slow intro followed by a very melodic lead guitar melody. Song's another hard rocker, has lots of melodic lead guitar parts, a hard rocking rhythm section, and this song really shows off how they do that like a twin guitar and really create those really great melodies. The last song on the album is called Let Me Take You Home Tonight. This is kind of a country flavored ballad. It's a song that's an acoustic ballad. It has a sound similar to some of those like southern rock bands of the time. I'm thinking of Leonard Skinner or the Allman Brothers. Has some pretty cool acoustic guitars and organs and some melodic lead guitar playing. It's a pretty cool song, and it does speed up towards the end before it finishes off the album. And I thought that was like pretty cool. So that is it. No need to give this a rating. It's a 10 out of 10 album. One of those albums that I think everybody likes it. It doesn't matter if you're a hard rock fan or a pop fan or a metal fan, or I mean, everybody likes this. One of the best-selling debut albums, and actually the second best-selling debut album after Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. That is it. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of the album. Maybe tell me some of your memories about listening to this album if you were like old enough like to remember coming out, and let's get a conversation going. That's it. Tomorrow we'll be doing Pearl Jam's 10, another debut album. And there's some new heavy metal coming out this weekend. New album by the band Ginger. There's a new metalcore by Phineas. There's an EP by Spirit Adrift. And that's it. So please like, comment, and subscribe. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Check out the other videos I have over there. See you in the next one.